your mic changed again. I don't know if you know that it. Joe's face tells me the entire story because he agrees.
No, I don't necessarily agree. I just was cringing because I know how pissed Kyle is.
It didn't. The audio input still says Yeti.
Oh, okay. Maybe you just got more up close.
I was away from the mic. I was away from the mic. How about now?
Okay. Well, welcome in, everybody.
Am I better? You've
Yes.
given me no illusions that I'm better or worse.
You are fantastic right where you're at.
Oh, great. Grand. Wonderful.
Welcome in. The NFL's back tonight. That's what I've named the stream for today. Yes, Sean, we are starting early because, you know what? I'll let the listeners in on what we're doing here. We're recording the Friday free-for-all. We got in here and we're like, hey, let's record the Friday free-for-all. And then I was like, you know what? Why don't we just do the Friday free-for-all live on the live stream and just hang out with everybody?
It's just like takes on takes.
So we're just going to do it with you guys.
So now, bring your hot takes.
Now, Joe didn't necessarily know that we were going live.
No, Joe is very blindsided by this.
Nobody tells me nothing.
Yeah. Do the Baltimore Ravens have the most accomplished practice squad running back pairing in the history of football?
Well, seeing as they're both probably not going to be on the practice squad by the time week 1 rolls around, no. I'll take the under on that.
Well, I mean, right now.
Who's the other one besides Lev Bell?
They just signed Devonta Freeman.
Oh, all right.
And the plan is to activate him before week 1, but he's not. Yeah. Listen, This is good free for all content. Don't give it all away here. All right. How do we feel? Are we ready to do this? Free for all?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Quick producer note for the two gentlemen. We have to make sure we get to the free for all, the bet that we were going to make on the meeting yesterday. Do we all remember what that was?
No, but it'll be fun if you remind us during the pod.
Yeah, because I don't remember either.
Oh,
good. So I guess we're gonna leave that off then.
Oops. Okay. All right. Never mind. Here we go.
Okay.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes here on the Draft Dudes podcast. It's Joe Marino, Kyle Krabs, and Chris Schubert from the Draft Network, and we are your hosts here on this Friday free-for-all episode of the show. Folks, it's that time of year again, and all eyes are now turning to football as teams are back on the gridiron to start the season. And as always, BetOnline is your number one spot for all the pro and college football action this season. Get all the updated odds, props, and contests, including online's biggest $500,000 NFL mega contest and the world's largest $200,000 NFL Survivor contest, open now at BetOnline. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive a 100% welcome bonus. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. Kyle, what's up, man?
Howdy. Friday free-for-all, live with the people, interactive show. We got some hot takes. Jalen dropping some hot takes. TJ Watt just got paid the bag and a half. I have a really fun proposition for at some point throughout the course of today's show that you guys are absolutely going to be out on, but it's going to be funny to propose it to the group anyway. So I'm excited to see what direction the fans and listeners take this Friday free-for-all.
Do we all have a good week before we get into some of these takes? Do everybody have a good week? It's the Friday free for all. I feel like
football's back.
It's true. It's a good point. Do we want to start with the TJ Watt news? Or do we want to talk about the Ravens
Might as
news
well.
first? Well,
TJ Watt.
Okay.
Let's do the good.
Watt,
Let's start with the good.
TJ Watt securing the bag. I will get the official numbers here up so we can talk about this.
4-1-12.
Okay, sure. 4-1-12 is what you're saying. I want to check. Make sure
my sources told me it was 4 years, $112 million.
It is $28 million average per year, $80 million fully guaranteed at signing.
Oh, I didn't hear that one.
The highest paid defensive player in football.
It's $1 million more than Bosa average annual value, right? And Bosa got $102 million guaranteed. Got the 5th year, 5 years, 135. So a year extra or excuse me, a little bit
A year less.
over. Yeah, it's a year less than $1 million over the average annual value.
Well,
of
and
the
that was the sticking point here, right? Was the guaranteed money. Was Pittsburgh apparently didn't want to give a lot of that up, but I got some news for you guys. You gave it up because TJ got $80 million in guaranteed at signing, not even like guaranteed like stipulations involved. The $80 million guaranteed at signing. Very well off player now, and very well deserved for TJ, who must just have to be wondering what in the hell he has to do to get Aaron Donald out of the way so that he can win Depoy like once, because he's been tremendous the last two years.
I was doing my Defensive Player of the Year pick on Locked On Bills this week, and I picked Aaron Donald, and my rationale was
lame.
Well, look, no,
he could show up and give 80% production versus what he does on a normal year, and he's automatically going to get the vote.
It's literally the point that I was making. Aaron Donald just has to have an average season by Aaron Donald standards, and he's the Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, TJ Watt's had a case the last couple of years. Xavier Howard had a case last year. So we don't need to get detracted. Like, TJ Watt is the main focus of what we're talking about, but the point being that he's been deserving of that award the last couple of years. I mean, he's one of the top 5, maybe even top 3 defensive players in the NFL right now.
Let's talk about the other news that we have not gotten to on the show.
Real quick.
Please go ahead.
Real quick. Joe, I have a question for you.
Every time that you say that, I always think that you're going to ask me which bear is the best bear. And you're not going to, because you don't like The Office. But in my mind, I always think that.
Well, I'm sorry to say no. I didn't even know what that was from until you alluded to The Office.
Yeah.
So, which would you rather have? Aaron Donald from 2017 to 2020, the last 4 years of Aaron Donald, or 2012 to 2015 JJ Watt? Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, but I feel like that's going to be a hot take for some people who maybe weren't old enough to appreciate like exactly what was happening at that time with JJ. JJ was phenomenal. And Aaron's been phenomenal, but give me Watt.
Wrecker, man. Just like, they're both wreckers, but I think what JJ Watt did, batting down passes at the line of scrimmage, and I don't know, like, Donald is overwhelming in different ways. Like, Watt was just like ragdoll people. Donald's a little bit more of like just slippery off of blocks and penetration style player, man. They're both elite players. I'm both happy to say that I've watched their careers, but I think that stretch from Watt was just unreal.
Watt in 2012, his second year, had 20 and a half sacks, 16 passes defense.
As a 5-tech, right?
16. Yeah, as a 5-tech. He had 81 total tackles. He had 39 tackles for loss. 39!
Unbelievable.
43 QB hits that year. And then 2 years later in 2014, he had 20 and a half sacks again, had 5 fumble recoveries, another 10 passes defensed, 2 defensive touchdowns, another 29 tackles for loss, and 51 QB hits.
That's why my dream podcast guest is Wade Phillips. I want the stories. I want to know what it's like to coach all these great players, man.
Right. David, you have your Watts mixed up. We're talking J.J. Watt, not T.J. Watt. The Dolphins did not draft Charles Harris over J.J. Watt. My heart has so much heartbreak in it already for draft hits and misses. Please don't bring hypotheticals into my reality. Now, Chris, would you like to talk about the Baltimore Ravens?
Yeah, we had the unfortunate news that on back-to-back plays, both Gus Edwards and Marcus Peters suffered knee injuries. We're not sure the extent of them as we are recording the show. It is believed that Gus Edwards is a torn ACL and that he's going to be out for the year. And it certainly didn't seem that there was a lot of optimism on both of these guys being able to play this season. So, I mean, the injury bug has just hit that team so hard. They've lost 3 running backs. Now they lose Peters. It's just been so bad for them. And today it just got worse.
I feel like the potential loss of Peters is worse than the loss of Gus Edwards, because you still have Lamar Jackson, right? And he's kind of the straw that stirs the drink, to steal the euphemism from Joe, for what that offense looks like. But defensively, like, if you're without Peters and now your safety room is Marlon Humphrey, Jimmy Smith, Tavon Young, Anthony Averett, Brandon Stevens, who, played corner in college. He's on their depth chart as a free safety. You better be plugging away at the phones if you're Eric DeCosta. You probably can't help but wonder if Baltimore wouldn't have called up Houston and made a competitive offer to get a veteran corner in, and they just missed the boat on that because New Orleans jumped on that earlier today.
Yeah.
It's an interesting dynamic for the running backs don't matter people like myself, especially when you consider the running back dynamics in Baltimore, where it didn't seem like it mattered who got the ball for them. They were just churning out yards. And I will say that their offensive line might be a little bit more suspect this year than I felt about it in previous years.
Baltimore's?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of new pieces. Villanueva's a starter. They have Zeitler. That's a nice get, but I'm not that crazy about their left guard center situation. So Stanley's back. I don't know. It's a weird group to me. So is it just going to be insert next player and they're going to average 4.5, 5 yards a carry and it doesn't matter? Or are we really going to see this offense take a hit without Dobbins, without Edwards, and, kind of having to piece it together with players off their practice squad, maybe Trenton Cannon? It's going to be interesting to see, but on one hand, I can see this being a major hit because of how important the run game is in Baltimore, but is that more because of the scheme and Lamar Jackson as a run threat, or has it been because of the caliber of backs that they've had in the backfield?
Can I throw a name out to you guys?
Yeah, go ahead.
They should call up Houston and see if David Johnson's available. Because you look at that room
for a number of backs out of that room.
Well, Philip Lindsay's more than likely going to be the starter, and they're going to have a role for Mark Ingram. It feels that David Johnson's going to be the guy left out there in Houston. And I've talked about this on the TDN Fantasy podcast, #FreeDavidJohnson. I think he fits a lot of what Baltimore wants to do. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He showed the tail half of last season that he can still play. He can still be a productive player. And he costs like $1 million. 1.1, I think, is his cap hit for this year. Like, in terms of new money that they'd have to pay him, because there's a bonus, I think, that's already been paid. Like, that to me just makes a ton of sense.
Can I counter you?
Please.
I don't think David Johnson can play anymore.
Oh.
I think Braden's got the right idea in the chat. Braden said sign Latavius Murray.
He's out on the street.
Yeah. There you go. Boom. Done.
What do we think of the fit of Lev Bell? Am I the only one that thinks that's a terrible fit?
It's just terrible. Yeah.
Here's Sports Nuts got who I was going to bring up. Melvin Gordon, the Broncos.
Wait, did somebody sign Royce Freeman yet?
Yes, he landed in...
Producer's working on it.
He landed with one of the other 31 NFL franchises.
Yeah.
Last week, he was claimed off of waivers by the Carolina Panthers.
That's right.
Okay.
Can we appreciate, and somebody in the comments had also mentioned they had just missed out on Wayne Gallman by a few days as well. Are we excited for Wayne Gallman to end up being the feature back in Atlanta when it's all said and done? Because Mike Davis can't stay healthy.
Well, yeah, and they cut
Wayne
Allison,
train, baby.
So it's going to be like
it's the Wayne train.
Cordero Patterson and Mike Davis is their running back tandem. Yeah, it's just a matter of time before Wayne Gallman gets the rock.
Wayne Gallman, baby.
Good last year for the Giants.
Yes, he did. I could not believe he didn't make the team in San Francisco. Now, granted, you got a million backs, so I do get it. But
look at
Sam. Aren't you the Carolina guy?
Look at Sam. I can't wait for Sunday to be over so Sam and I can be friends.
Sam can leave you alone.
Yeah.
Speaking of week one, I remember what the bet was supposed to be, and we talked about this in the pre-show.
Oh, no.
I in our daily meetings that we had, had mentioned that I think the Jets win on Sunday, and the two gentlemen on the other end are against me on this. So I think that
Ask the chat. Ask the chat.
All right, chat. Podcast listeners listening in the next day. I am picking the Jets to win this game outright on Sunday against the Carolina Panthers.
Renowned New York Jets fan Chris Schubert is picking the Jets to beat the Carolina Panthers on Sunday in shocking news.
And both Kyle and Joe are very much against me.
I picked the Jets to cover. Isn't Carolina plus 4.5?
Carolina would be minus 4.5.
That's what I meant to say.
Yes.
So I think
not a big bet guy this year, huh, Joe?
What's that?
Come on, that's not fair. That's not fair.
I didn't hear it, and I'm glad I didn't.
Don't do that to your friend. That's unfair. I won't repeat what
I didn't do anything. I'm just sitting here drinking an adult beverage.
It's apple juice. I know.
Yeah, you caught me.
So do we want to make an official Draft Dudes bet on this?
Staying away.
I'm signed up on too many boxes of Built Bars, and it's week 1.
All right.
I don't know anything about these teams yet. We're in the getting to know you phase.
And week 1 will lie to you. So can we go ahead and establish that before everyone gets in their feelings about what happens on Sunday? Week 1 tells a lot of lies. Except for I think I saw a statistic today that all 8 of the division winners from last year won in week 1.
Oh, really? So you have to win in week 1 in order to win your division.
Last year you did.
That's what you're telling me.
Right.
Guys, before we move on to some more takes from the chat, I got to let everyone know about our new partnership, our new sponsorship here on the
Chris.
What?
I had a phenomenal segue lined up here about winning, and you snatched it from me. But yes, we got a new partner here on Draft Dudes. It's our friends at Home Field.
Yeah, and listen, if I would have known about your fantastic segue in the pre-show, maybe we could have done this a little better. But yes, Home Field, new sponsor of the show, premium collegiate apparel brand out of Indianapolis, incredibly comfortable, officially licensed apparel with vintage college designs.
Vintage.
They are wrapping up Big New Saturday Season 2. And they launched 16 new schools each Saturday all summer, a new school collection every Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern for 16 weeks straight. They're going to continue to release and refresh the schools all year long. They have over 100 schools right now with officially licensed apparel, and they're going to add more as the year goes on. And listen, tweet at them. Tell them what schools you want. I know for me, I've been kind of pushing the forks up. Give me some Arizona State gear. Need some West Virginia gear.
It's trash.
Come on, man. Those are 2 good schools. Got to get
Colorado
some
School of Mines. Leave me alone.
NC State.
They've got the School of Mines, but they don't have West Virginia. So Chris is upset.
I will say I have some gear on the way from BYU. Got to represent my boy Zach Wilson. So that gear should get here shortly, and I will show it off here on the show. But for our listeners, you can get 15% off your first purchase from Home Field with the code TDN during checkout at homefieldapparel.com. So 15% off your first purchase at Home Field if you use the code TDN.
Kyle, what is your shirt here? Miami 35? What does that mean?
It's 305 because it's the area
code of Miami.
There you go, Joe.
Yep. Hey, fun fact about this shirt, you can only buy it at the Pro Shop at Hard Rock Stadium.
Wow. I have a rare opportunity to do that in a few weeks, huh?
Correct. When we go fishing. Chris, you excited?
My flight got changed. I got an email today, and they're like, "You're November." I was like, "Where am I going in November?" And then it showed me where. I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's
right." I'm going
mine
to
changed
Miami.
As well, but it was like 10 minutes earlier or something like that.
Oh, mine got moved 10 minutes later. I'm leaving 10 minutes later on the way out on that trip.
I feel like we're setting ourselves up for disaster by going on a fishing trip the morning of the game.
Yeah, I don't really think this is a good idea. Joe and I are in agreement that we shouldn't do this.
No, Joe never said that. Joe literally told me on the phone yesterday how excited he is to go on a fishing trip.
I reckon 2 things can be true here. I'm excited for the fishing trip, but I also acknowledge the possibility that one of us gets sick as hell.
Dramamine,
but
bro.
Seasick isn't contagious. You know what I mean? You just got to get through it.
Correct.
I do want to talk about this because we haven't talked about it on the show all week. Today, this is the Friday edition of the show, and when this gets released, we are more than likely going to hear at some point today about BYU, UCF, Houston, and Cincinnati joining the Big 12 because those applications have been filled out and they've been sent back. And so I got to be honest with you guys. I love all 4 of these schools, man.
Yes.
All 4 of these schools being a part of a big conference like the Big 12. I am in. Let's go.
Now, obviously, you lost Texas and you lost Oklahoma. Oklahoma hurts, Texas, you really miss having that 7-5 program in your conference every year, and it is what it is. But they make a lot of money though, so you're gonna have to find a way to replace that brand value. I'm excited about seeing what these programs do with the bigger platform and kind of the general restructuring anyway. And I think what's really interesting about the Big 12 is we're sitting here and like, my guys are on an island, right? The other three conferences made a pact on one side. SEC made a super conference. And then the Big 12's just kind of floating around here like, what it do, baby? Like, like you're bringing in Cincinnati, BYU, UCF, and Houston. Like, okay, Houston, you want to take it or leave it? Dana Holgorsen back in the Big 12 once again. There's some good potential here for BYU and Cincinnati, especially in my mind, to really legitimize themselves as Power 5 programs. I think they have that kind of sticking power.
I'll tell you what, I think this is better than the Alliance of Friends. Like, I like this move
that's
better.
not even a legitimate alliance because
and that's why, right? It's not legitimate. Like it's a handshake between three gentlemen. Like, that's the big quote that we throw around all the time. This is actually 4 schools joining the conference, and 4 schools that, like, within the last couple of years have had national appeal, right? We've talked about UCF. Cincinnati's getting some play this year. BYU last year.
UCF has no national appeal. Let's be honest.
National champions, UCF to you. How dare you?
National champions.
But these 4 schools, I think joining this conference is good for everybody. So I'm excited. What, Joe? What?
Nothing. I'm good. Just I laughed. I don't need to explain it. I was thinking about something Kyle said that was funny to me.
Okay, he's a little off air, I suppose.
Yeah, it is a free for all for a reason. So, what's this TikTok thing that we have to do here to close the show?
No, you know what? Real quick, Braden does have a great point. Why Houston when you could have got Boise State? If you could have pulled Boise, how many schools are in the Big 12? Now it's going to be 12, right? They lost 2, they added 4.
Yes, so they will be at 12 now.
They will legitimately be the Big 12 now.
Mm-hmm.
Can we get Kansas 12 out of here?
Please.
Just send Kansas home and get Boise in.
Boise's holding out for the Pac-12.
That's nice.
Keep holding. Keep holding.
Because you can't just add 1. You'd have to add 2, right? Like, so it would have to be Boise and somebody else.
Doesn't one of the Pac-12 divisions have more teams?
As the Pac-12 guy, I should probably know this, but let me look it up. Producer's working.
So while you're looking that up, I'll propose my TikTok trend that I saw that I'd like us to try here on the live stream. And you guys are more very good, Joe.
You never saw it coming, did you?
Pop culture reference I've ever seen from you.
They both have 6 in the Pac-12.
So it was a circle. They had a circle of people. And you had to make a random noise. And anybody that you made laugh was eliminated.
I'm out.
So out.
But but if you did not make anybody laugh, then you were eliminated.
We're not doing this right now, are we?
No, absolutely not. Producer veto.
Kyle was ready. I'm sitting here like, please, God, no.
I planned out my first 3 noises.
No, see, Joe, you and I have to be in agreement on this, that this is a no from us.
What if we did it in the pre-show where you couldn't see our faces?
I would do it. I'm not afraid of being fun, you know.
Curmudgeon? You're not a curmudgeon?
Yeah, I'm not.
So who do we think wins tonight?
I dance at weddings, you know.
Obviously,
wins tonight.
Well, hold on. The reason I ask is Jalen said he thinks Dallas wins tonight. So obviously we're recording on Thursday afternoon. I understand that, Chris, but we do need to dance for the people. Joe, do the thing. Whatever it is. Yeah, so like we got to entertain the people here with us on the stream a little bit. So if we get it wrong, then anybody, what if we did a prop? You know, who wins and then a prop? And it's like my bold prop bet is Antonio Brown gets 7 receptions, right?
People are listening to this mostly tomorrow, right? Well, I guess they'll know the answer.
Just go ahead. Just do it. We're here. It's the Friday free for all. Do we want to make our predictions so we know if we look when people listen to the Friday show, they're going to know that I'm taking the Bucks.
Yes, I'm taking the Bucks as well.
I will
went
lay
out
the
on a limb
points.
there.
I will lay the points.
I have cash on Tampa Bay winning by a margin of victory of 7 to 12 points. I'll go with that.
Okay. I like it. I got Tampa by 7, and Antonio Brown leads the Bucks in receiving.
Man, that was Antonio Brown's in for a big game tonight. I think the status of Chris Godwin with his quad that he didn't practice, and so I think Antonio Brown's in for a big season. But I think tonight, with the dynamics of the way this is going to play out, I think he's in for a big game tonight. I think the Bucks cover. I think it's at 8.5, 9, according to our friends over at Bet Online. I think they cover that. I really do. I think this Dallas defense is just incredibly suspect. So
I locked it in at -6.
You got it early, Joe.
The day that the lines were announced, I said I'm in on that.
Yeah, you did. You did well there.
Yep,
you did well. Is that it? Are we free for all out?
I think we're free for all out. I think that's going to do it for us here on the Free for All. Thank everybody who carved some time out of your day to tune in and listen and interact. And if you're listening in the podcast feed, we appreciate you guys hitting subscribe, supporting the podcast. This podcast is brought to you by our friends over at Bet Online. We thank for them for their support as well. Kyle Krabs with Joe Marino and Chris Schubert. Thanks as always for watching / listening to the Draft Dudes podcast.